Swastaya Shasvat Upaprimita Purnabodha Ya Patidatma Tamasi Hare Namaste Nishvaya Vishwa Bhavana Stita Samanya Maya Shwaram Grita Puru Shakti Gunaya Bhumni Swastaya Shasvarupa Brimhita Purnabhada Vaya Paritatma Tamasi Hare Namaste Vishvaya Vishwa Bhavana Stita Samyamaya Swairam Grihita Purushakti Gunaya Bhumne Swastaya Sasvarupa Brimhita Purnabodha Vaya Paditatma Tamasi Hari Namaste Vishvaya Vishwa Bhavana Stiti Samyamaya Swairam Grita Purushakti Gunaya Bhumne Swastaya Sasvarupa Pritya Purnabodha Ya Piyadatma Tamase Hare Namaste Vishvaya Vishwa Bhavana Sthiti Samaya Swayam Vire Purushakti Guna Bhumne Swastayam Sasvarupa Bhita Purnabodha Atma Tamasi Hare Namaste Vishva Vishwa Bhavanaya Sthiti Samyamaya Swairam Grita Puru Shakti Guna Bhumni Swastaya Sasvarupa Bhita Purnabodha Ya Paditatma Tamasi Hare Namaste Vishvaya Vishwa Bhavana Stita Samaya Swairam Grita Puru Shakti Gunaya Bhumni Satsaya Savarupa Brihita Purnabodha Ya Paditatma Tamasi Hare Namaste Vishva Vishwa Bhavani Stita Samaya Maya Swairam Grita Purushakti Gunaya Bhumne Swastaya Sasvarupa Brihita Purnabodha Vaya Paditatma Tamasi Vishvaya unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is actually the entire universe. Vishwa, of the universe, Bhavana, creation, Sthiti, maintenance, Samyamaya, and annihilation, Svairam, fully independent, Krita, taking in hand, Puru, completely, Shakti Gunaya, controlling of the three modes of material nature, Bhumni, the supreme great, Swasthaya, he who is always situated in his original form, Shashvat, eternally, Upabrimita, achieved, Purana, complete, Bodha, knowledge, Vyapadita, completely vanquished, Atma Tamashe, the illusory energy of your Lordship, Haraye, unto the Supreme Lord, Namaste, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Can we turn the fan off? Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, the Bhai Charanaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. My Lord, you are the all-pervading universal form, the fully independent creator, maintainer, and destroyer of this universe. Although you engage your energy in matter, you are always situated in your original form and never fall from that position, for your knowledge is infallible and always suitable to any situation. You are never bewildered by illusion. O my Lord, let me offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Please repeat. My Lord, you are the all-pervading, universal form, the fully independent creator, maintainer and destroyer of this universe. Although you engage your energy in matter, you are always situated in your original form and never fall from that position. For your knowledge is infallible and always suitable to any situation. You are never bewildered by illusion. O my Lord, let me offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. In the Caitanya-caritāmṛta, Adi Leela 2.1, anyone trying to become fully Kṛṣṇa conscious must know the Lord's glories as far as they are possible to understand. Here, Aditi hints at these glories. The universe is nothing but the external potency of the Lord. This is confirmed in Bhagavad-gītā 9.4, mayā tatam idaṁ sarvam. Whatever we see in this universe is but an expansion of the energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Just as the sunshine and heat all over the universe are expansions of the sun. When one surrenders unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he surpasses the influence of the illusory energy. For the Supreme Lord, being fully wise and being situated in the heart of everyone, especially in the heart of the devotee, gives one intelligence by which one is sure never to fall into illusion. Om Agyantimidandasya Jananjanan Shalakaya Chakshuram Militandina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Jaya Sri Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Kṛṣṇa Hare Kṛṣṇa Krishna Krishna, Hari Hari, Hari Rama, Rama Rama, Hari Hari. So, here Aditi is praising the Lord as the creator of everything, which is a natural conclusion. When you're searching for God, you come to the conclusion that He must be the creator. At least that's an obvious one. Many ways you can understand, but generally that is quite obvious. There has to be a creator behind this universe. So she's worshipping, offering prayers to that Supreme Creator. But He is much more than that. Also, there's a class of people, they're not so much interested in studying or understanding how great the Lord is, how He annihilates, controls, and creates and dissolves everything. They're not so much interested. In the purport, Prabhupada's quote in the Caitanya-caritāmṛta, but he doesn't really give a translation for it. But anyway, he gives a long purport and he starts talking about the class of people who think that this kind of understanding of the Lord is just for the neophyte, for beginning stages, and actually it's not really necessary. And he goes on to talk about the sahajiyas. They think, why study all this preliminary stuff? We can understand the 10th canto, Srimad Bhagavatam, that's more the Rasika literature, and all this is the kind of inferior stuff. And Prabhupada said there are many people like this. They know how to cry. Prabhupada said they cry with practice. With practice they cry and make a show of what the real devotees and exalted devotees who have love of Godhead, they exhibit, they imitate them, and they cry after practicing crying. There was one kirtan group, Sahajiya group, and they were doing this kirtan, and they were crying. Some of them were crying, and tears were coming from their eyes and everything. Oh, it's very impressive. There's a Gaudiya Math story, and then after the kirtan had finished, and they left the stage, the Gaudiya went round the back of the stage, and they were pulling out chilies from their nose. They had some green chili, lanka, put it in their nose, and it's making them cry. So this was their imitation of ecstasy. Chilies are ecstasy for Bengalis, but when they eat them, they like them. But you stick them up your nose. So this class of people, they're more interested in, as Prabhupada said, the 10th canto and Ras Leela, and they're not much interested in the other parts which deal with Gyan. They said it's just Gyan. So it's in the 11th canto, 1915, it talks about this progression of self-realization, how first we understand the Lord as the universe. And Prabhupada gives that also. He said when you're out distributing books and things like that, what you are seeing is just tall buildings. That's all you see is tall buildings everywhere. It looks mundane, he said, but we have to learn to see that as Krishna's energy. So even we're in a big city like that, and we're confronting with Maya, we understand that this is nothing but Krishna's energy. So he said in this way we can see Krishna everywhere, in any stage. Or at least through his energy. In the beginning, through his energy, we will see the Lord is there. Because Krishna said, earth, water, fire, air, these are nothing but my energies. what we see when we perceive here, we perceive nothing outside of earth, water, fire, air, and subtle mind, intelligence, ahankara. So that's all that we are dealing with. Modern science is just dealing with these 5 things: earth, water, fire, and air in different combinations. And they're coming up with so many creations and inventions. How great we are, but what are they doing? They just got earth, water, Krishna's water, Krishna's fire, Krishna's ether, putting them together in different combinations, and look, we made a big creation. But they can't create one drop of water, one grain of dust, or one little bit of air. They can't create that in their laboratories. But they're taking all of Krishna's ingredients. Anyway, so like that we can learn to see the Lord. So you can see everything as the energy of the Lord. And then he understands that there is a creator behind everything. So who is that creator? Then he comes to understand it. Ishvara Parama Kṛṣṇa Satyatananda Vigraha Anadiyadadid Govinda Sarva Karana Karana. The Supreme Creator is Kṛṣṇa. He is behind it. He's the cause of all causes. He's behind everything. So then one comes to the point of surrendering to Kṛṣṇa, understanding how great he is. But in the beginning, we perceive the Lord through his energy as the Almighty Creator. And we perceive that as this universe was created, it's going to be annihilated also. And what will remain? Nothing. No material object, but eternality will remain. Everything is based on eternality, the platform of everything. So that's not destroyed. So then we come to a conclusion that that by studying the universe, and there is an eternal nature that, and Kṛṣṇa says in Bhagavad-gītā that when all of these worlds are put into ruination, that part remains as it is. That part means the eternality part. That is always remaining. When all creation is wound up in the body of the Lord, nothing is existing except the eternal platform. And that's the platform that the Lord lives on. He lives on the eternal platform. So it's eternal. When all the worlds are put into ruination, that part remains that it is. This is also an indication of Mayapur Dham. When all the world are put into ruination, then nothing is existing apparently, but the Dham is there. Mayapur is like a gigantic lotus flower. So at the end of the destruction of the universe, during the devastation, fills up with water, half of water, the universe. And floating on that universe is a lotus, that is Sri Mayapur Dham. Sri Mayapur Dham ki jai. It says in the Navadita Mahatmya that when Madhu and Kaitiba, they stole the Vedas, the demons, Brahma rescued them. And he put on the back of Matsya, because at that time the universe was getting full of water. So he was swimming around in the universal flood waters, Matsya, big avatar. And then they see there's a gigantic lotus is floating. And so that he deposits the Vedas in Mayapur, particularly Vidyanagar. Vidyanagar, is that Jananivasa? Anyway, Vidyanagar, the other side of the river, place of learning. So he deposits the Vedas there, Matsya deposits the Vedas. He saves the Vedas and puts them there. And from Vidyanagar, then again, all the sages, they start disseminating all the knowledge from the Vedas, all the different branches of knowledge. So that part remains that it is. It is not destroyed when all the worlds are put into ruination. So this is the conclusion of the Vedas, or the aphorisms of the Vedas. Everything is emanating from the absolute truth. Everything is sustained by the absolute truth, and everything is annihilated and conserved in the absolute truth. Then only that one eternal remains. So by understanding how these, seeing the Lord in everything, and ourselves also as a part of the Lord, so we have to go further. We see the Lord and His energy, that's good, but you have to go further still. And because as long as we are materially contaminated, we'll identify to some degree with this universe. We'll identify as this body, as my house, my place of birth. There will be some identification there while we're in a conditioned state. So one goes further and understands that he is a part and parcel of the Lord. He is also transcendental. He is also of that same eternal nature. So at that time, he's no longer interested in seeing the Supreme Personality of Godhead merely as a supreme explanation of the material world. People are trying to understand the truth, but just to understand the Lord, how He, as an explanation of how He creates, destroys. It's a philosophical understanding, how He creates, maintains and destroys. So rather than using Kṛṣṇa to prove a point that, look, here, earth, water, fire and air, these are the creations of God, and how the annihilation takes place. But rather than that, he advances to understand who is that Supreme Personality of Godhead, what is his form, his qualities, etc. like that. He actually starts to see the source of everything. It's okay using Kṛṣṇa as the source of everything to explain creation and answer these questions about the material world. But as the devotee advances, then he understands the source of all creation and annihilation and maintenance. And then he starts to reorientate his entire mode of consciousness. And his whole attention then goes to that Supreme Personality of Godhead, Kṛṣṇa. And that becomes his focus. So this is a gradual progression. But ultimately this is Kṛṣṇa consciousness, to always remember Kṛṣṇa and never forget Kṛṣṇa. So there are so many different ways that are taught in the Vedas, but they're all bringing us up to this one point, or they should be, to understand Kṛṣṇa. So the Srimad Bhagavatam's 11th canto, 19.1, it said, understanding the universe to be illusion, one should surrender unto me both the knowledge and the means by which he achieved it. So we get to a point in our studies where understanding is, so much knowledge is there about creation and etc. like that. But here Krishna is saying, when you come to the point of being more fixed on the personality of God rather than his display of his different energies, then you should give up not the path of knowledge. You give up the process of knowledge and the means by which we attain. Many different paths are given, or renunciation, etc. Different types of yoga, but one should learn to give up the process of knowledge. Another place in Srimad Bhagavatam says that one should adopt a means of self-realization while you're in this world, but you should also give it up when you've achieved the purpose of your self-realization. So up until that time, then it's all useful, but after that, Krishna says you should surrender the knowledge and the process of knowledge to Kṛṣṇa. It's Krishna's knowledge, is Krishna's process, so you surrender it back to him. And you give up that path of knowledge and you take the path of pure devotion. Just like we are practicing various sadhana bhakti. But what is the result of sadhana bhakti? You give up the process of sadhana bhakti. And what do you achieve? And you get rag bhakti, spontaneous bhakti, which Mahaprabhu was coming to give, which is our natural constitution. So like that, it recommends you learn the process of self-realization, but you shouldn't be attached to the process. When you get the result, you should give up the practice and you should give up the knowledge acquiring process to Krishna. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives an example that a snake, someone is bitten by a snake, he may be charmed by herbs, by mantras, and by something else, 3 things. Mantras, herbs. Anyway, the snake is charmed by these things. To remove, is it to remove poison? Anyway, once you've charmed the snake, then you don't need the process anymore. You don't need the process of mantra, you don't need the process of gems, etc. When the snake is charmed, you've got him under your control, then you don't need that anymore. Or he gives another example, just as when there is a threat to the city, an enemy is attacking the city, general public as well, not only the soldiers but everyone, he lets out. So, and when the battle is won, the battle is over, then everybody gives their swords back to the king, he puts them back in his go-down. So for emergency they were necessary, they were used, but when they conquered the enemy, then they were not necessary anymore. So similarly, when one comes to this understanding of pure devotional service, then it's not necessary for him to continue practicing these methods of knowledge. Because they're all part of Kṛṣṇa anyway. So here it says that, was it today or yesterday? Anyway, some people say that they should be given up, and some people say, no, in the beginning they're good because we're discussing these intricacies of the Lord. It says they're very good because they strengthen your mind to have a discussion on the technical aspects of the Lord, the philosophy behind the Lord. It's good. It makes you strong, makes the mind strong. But we should always remember that the purpose of it all is to understand Kṛṣṇa and surrender to Kṛṣṇa. So this progression is also given in the Bhagavad-gītā, different ways. But in the 15th chapter, Puruṣottam Yoga, progression is there. And this is the Puruṣottam month, this month. So you can read this chapter. It's recommended to read this chapter, Bhagavad-gītā, every day. Not many slokas actually, it's a small chapter. But it's recommended to read these chapters every day. And Krishna is talking about the banyan tree with its roots up and its branches down. And the leaves are the attractive hymns of the Vedas that promise you lots of happiness. And the branches going up and down there, and the roots they're going up and down, and the branches up and down, comprised of different branches of knowledge and different activities that one may perform according to the Vedic injunctions. And like this, one becomes attached, like the roots they can become attached. So similarly, the living entity becomes attached. We're here to enjoy, actually, and control. If you can enjoy, that's okay. But if you're detached, enjoyment is okay. But if you're attached, that's the problem with enjoying. If you become attached, then that binds you to the material world. That's the greatest binding. If you can enjoy without being attached to the object of senses, that's okay. Like Kṛṣṇa, he's completely independent, completely free, he's a supreme enjoyer. But he doesn't become attached to the material world. He says in the fourth chapter, Karma Yoga, there is no work that affects me, nor am I in want of anything, but still I perform my duty. But I'm not attached to anything. People in this world, they're doing duty because they're attached to something. They want a result from something. So because of this wanting, they become attached. But Kṛṣṇa says, I'm not like that. I'm not attached to this world because I don't want anything. Because everything is mine anyway. I'm creating the whole. So I don't need anything. But the other living entities, they need something in this world. That's why they perform activities to get some result. They need something. And because of that, they become attached to the material world. That is the problem. But Kṛṣṇa says, I'm not like that. I don't become attached because I don't need anything, and I'm not aspiring for the fruits of my work. Everyone else is aspiring, but I don't aspire. Therefore, I'm completely free. And Arjuna, if you understand this about me, Kṛṣṇa says, you can also become as free as me. If you understand how Kṛṣṇa is not attached to the fruits of this work, he has nothing to aspire for, and you follow it. Yeah, but unfortunately we become attached to our position, the enjoying of this material world, and therefore we're bound up in this like great banyan tree which has roots. You can't find out where it starts, where it ends, where to cut it down. In Calcutta they have a botanical garden there, and there is one banyan tree. It's over maybe 1 acre of land, and there's banyan trees. They're all close together. The roots come down and it forms another tree, and they say there that if you can find out the original root of that banyan tree, we'll give you a prize, 1 lakh of rupees. Nobody could do it. I went there. And you see, you think, I think, oh, I'll find it. I'll find it. Everyone will think, I'm the best, I must be able to find it. And you see the branches are going then and coming down, and then you follow, oh, that must be it. Yeah, you go over there and, oh no, because another one comes up there, another one is going. And it's really, really difficult. You think, that's it. And bewildering. But you can't, it's very difficult. Although that's just a little 1 acre illusion. The entire universe is like this. We're being attracted and illusioned by it. So, anyway, Kṛṣṇa says with determination you should cut it down. With determination. Determined to counteract it. And what do you do when you cut it down? After you cut it down, there you can surrender to that Supreme Lord. That Supreme Eternal Lord from so then one who is free from illusion, he can taste the eternal, he can understand the eternal, he is eternal. It's only illusion that we forget our eternal nature and identify with the temporary nature. But otherwise we're eternal. We're eternal as the Lord because we're part and parcel of the Lord. Kṛṣṇa said, one who is done with material lust, who tastes the eternal, the illusion. In the Bhagavad-gītā, at the end of Bhagavad-gītā, Kṛṣṇa says, Arjuna says, my illusion is now gone, and now I've regained my memory. So first the illusion has to go. The illusion is that I am this body, I am the enjoyer. When that goes, when you can regain your memory, you I really thought I was this body. All these billions of lifetimes I've been identified. I really thought I was this body. When the illusion is gone, you'll understand who you are. You are the eternal self. The self is eternal. So first the illusion has to go. So here Kṛṣṇa says in the 15th chapter also, first get rid of that illusion, then you can actually understand what is eternal, the Lord's eternal nature and your own eternal nature. So then you can regain my memory. So first to take the illusion away, then your real memory comes, of your real self, of your real activity, of your real relationship with Kṛṣṇa. So then Kṛṣṇa says in the 15th chapter then, then he speaks of his own abode. My abode is not illuminated by electricity, fire or anything like that, it's beyond. That is my abode. One who goes there, he never comes back. So you try to go there, Arjuna. So he's advising me, leave this abode, this material illusory abode, and come to the eternal abode where there is no illusion. And you'll have full memory of you and your relationship with Kṛṣṇa. Otherwise, as Kṛṣṇa is saying, we're the fragmental parts, eternal fragmental parts, struggling very hard with material existence, transmigrating from one body to another. But only a self-realized person can see what is actually taking place. So Kṛṣṇa is pointing, this is the material world. It's like a banyan tree. Look, see how you're bound up in this material world, from one branch to another, to another, to one. The bird eating one fruit to another, which is going around tasting a different body, different set of senses, different sensations. That's all we're doing since time immemorial. So Kṛṣṇa, that's the world we live in. But there is another world, my supreme abode. You try to go there, Arjuna. You should go there. Then you can, but only if you're self-realized, you will be able to see what's happening. So then Kṛṣṇa says, I am the splendor of the sun and the moon, the light and the heat of fire. And so Kṛṣṇa is saying that I am the heat and light of the sun. Without the sunlight, what can we do? If the sun doesn't come up in the morning, what are we going to do? Can't do anything. If it's dark all day, you have to light your fires and start cooking. If there's no fire, you can't cook, you can't do anything. So where all this heat and light is coming from? Kṛṣṇa says, that's coming from me, they're my opulence. So without the opulence of Kṛṣṇa, without the light, electricity, fire, etc., we can't live in this world. So we're dependent on Kṛṣṇa. Even while we're here to live, we're dependent on the sunlight. Then Kṛṣṇa said, I enter into each planet, and therefore they stay in orbit. So if Kṛṣṇa didn't enter into the planets, what would happen? They would all fall down. There would be collision. But there's no collision because Kṛṣṇa is there. He enters into all the planets. Prabhupada said, you go up to Calcutta, how many collisions, how many cars have rolled off and lorries have rolled off the side of the road? That's just, one little road in one place. Every day a few... But there's billions and billions and billions of planets flying, and nobody ever have a crash. Prabhupada said that's because Kṛṣṇa is there. He's here. By his influence, they all stay in proper orbit. They don't smash into each other. We can't even create one road without one accident. So how are we dependent on Kṛṣṇa, even in living in this world? And then Kṛṣṇa says, I enter the moon, I become the moon, and I become the juice of life for all living entities. So that those vegetables and everything we're eating, nice prasadam, why that nice juicy taste? And the portal, because Kṛṣṇa's energy, moonshine is coming, making it juicy. Very tasty, otherwise... So again, you're dependent on Kṛṣṇa. If there's no juicy fruits, you can't eat. Man cannot live on bread alone, you've got to have some juice. Juicy. So that juice is coming from Kṛṣṇa. He said, I supply that juice. I'm the juice of life to all the vegetables. So we're dependent on Kṛṣṇa. Then Kṛṣṇa says, okay, you got the food, you eat it. But then again, you got to digest it. How you can digest it? Now Kṛṣṇa says, I am the digestion. And you can't digest by yourself. I enter in and I become Vaishnavara. The form of, said to be the size of the thumb, Vaishnavara, Vishnu Murti. But he lives in the stomach. He digests all the foodstuffs. Even we get foodstuffs, we can't live unless they're digested. You're going to get indigestion and then you'll die. And also you've got the airs on the body that go in and out and that move around in the body and the body functions. Where do those airs come from? Without them you can't function. You get a disorder of airs and things like that. You can't function properly. The Kṛṣṇa says, no, I become the airs. I'm the ingoing and outcoming airs. So Kṛṣṇa's saying, look, here is the universe, here is how you're bound up, and look, you're completely dependent on me in every aspect. So better you surrender to me. It's the conclusion. So then Kṛṣṇa says, okay, now I'm seated in everyone's heart, and from me comes remembrance and forgetfulness. So again, you want to remember something, Kṛṣṇa gives you that memory. I see that, a kartal. How did I know there was a kartal? Because Kṛṣṇa, he immediately told me. Kartal, and I say kartal. If he didn't remind, because the soul by nature is forgetful. The living entity is forgetful. So Kṛṣṇa reminds you of everything, at every moment. It's just a split second before we identify it. But Kṛṣṇa's already told us in all of our activities. If you didn't do that, how you could function? You couldn't function in the material world if everybody lost their memory. I'm losing mine. But we couldn't function properly. All these different ways we're dependent on Kṛṣṇa. So then Kṛṣṇa says, but also I'm living in the heart. And I am the knower of the Vedas. And because I know the Vedas, Arjuna, I'll give you a summary. I spoke the Vedas, I know the Vedas, and because of this, I'm going to give you a summary of the Vedas. And then Kṛṣṇa begins, this is called the Tri-Shloki Gita. These 3 verses in Bhagavad-gītā, 15th chapter. Then Kṛṣṇa starts to describe, there are 2 classes of persons in this world, the fallible and the infallible, Shara Akshara. One is, they're both Brahman, but one is conditioned. We are Brahman, Aham Brahmasmi, but we have become conditioned. We've forgotten our real identity. And there is another person whose real identity has been revealed. Aham Brahmasmi, he knows I am Brahman. There are 2 classes of Brahman. One is a covered Brahman, one is uncovered Brahman, or realized Brahman. So you've got 2 classes, Shara and Akshara. But besides these 2, Kṛṣṇa says, there is that other one, that Supreme Lord, the Super Soul, who enters into these worlds and he maintains everything as the Super Soul. So you've got 3 Brahmans. You've got Brahman, covered Brahman, liberated Brahman, and the Para-Brahman, Kṛṣṇa, the Super Soul. You've got 3 aspects there now. Kṛṣṇa, we're also Brahman, Kṛṣṇa is Brahman. What's the difference? Paramatma is Brahman. Well, what is the difference? The difference is, Kṛṣṇa says, I enter into these worlds and I maintain all these worlds. I cannot do that. You cannot do that. Oh, but I'm Brahman and Kṛṣṇa is Brahman, but still we cannot do what Kṛṣṇa does. He enters into the worlds and maintains. Otherwise, how we can live? It's he who does that. We're not the maintainers and controllers of the world. Then we got 3 Brahmans. Liberated Brahman, conditioned Brahman, Para-Brahman, the Super Soul. And then there's another one. Kṛṣṇa says, because I am celebrated beyond both the conditioned Brahman and all the eternal Brahmanas and the Super Soul, and all the different incarnations of the Lord, and all the different avatars of the Lord. Because I am beyond all of those different aspects of Brahman. Therefore I am celebrated as Puruṣottam. Kṛṣṇa very much likes this name. He's proud of this name. Proud. I am Puruṣottam. Means above all others. So he points it out. This is that Supreme Person. Beyond all the different incarnations, all the different aspects of the Lord that we see in the creation, in the material worlds, and the spiritual world. And Kṛṣṇa is beyond all of those. He is that Ishvara Parama Kṛṣṇa Satchitananda. Anadiradi Govinda, the cause of all causes. So this is what, luckily, we come into contact with the devotee. He tells this is the actual purpose of knowledge, to understand that cause of all causes, the original cause, Kṛṣṇa. That is our success in life. So that is the whole purpose of the Vedas. Prabhupada so kindly give us all these conclusions. Otherwise you'll be very, very bewildered. Prabhupada says about this verse, Bahunam Javananti, after taking thousands and thousands of births as a jnani, looking for knowledge, you come to this position, Vasudeva Sarvamiti. Kṛṣṇa is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You surrender to his lotus feet. At that time you surrender to his lotus feet. That is the conclusion of thousands and thousands of births, Kṛṣṇa says. Now Prabhupada says, this is what Kṛṣṇa is saying. Now I'm telling you what Kṛṣṇa says. That if you surrender to Kṛṣṇa, So Prabhupada said, this is what Kṛṣṇa is saying. After thousands and thousands of births, you surrender to Kṛṣṇa. Prabhupada said, now, if you hear, I'm saying the same thing. If you hear me, that if you surrender to Kṛṣṇa now, you're going to skip thousands and thousands and thousands of births. You hear me? I'm telling you to surrender to Kṛṣṇa. This is the usual result. It takes thousands and thousands of births. But to surrender to Kṛṣṇa, Prabhupada says, now I'm telling you now, you surrender to Kṛṣṇa. Now, if you hear me and you surrender to me right now, you jump thousands and thousands of births, because you come to the conclusion of thousands and thousands of births that Kṛṣṇa is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and I should surrender to Him. So this is the glory of a moment's association with devotee. You can, just one little word like that, you can skip thousands and thousands of births of being a jnani, looking for truth. One moment's association with a pure devotee is so important. So Prabhupada making everything simplified for us. So if you read this chapter every day for this month, it's recommended, Purushottam Yoga, chapter 15 of Bhagavad-gītā. Then you can see where you are situated in the material spheres, or if you're in the spiritual world. But it's a gradation of the living entities movement and how Kṛṣṇa is controlling every situation. But we should learn how to move on, learn where we are now and learn how to move on and on. So by the mercy of Prabhupada. Otherwise we couldn't figure anything out. The scientists with all the brains, they can't figure it out. How we can? Simply by hearing from the devotees about Kṛṣṇa. Sarvatanam prityaja mamekam saranam braja ham tam sarva papibhyo mokshayishami masuchaha. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Purushottam Adhikamash ki jai, Samveda Bhakta Brinda ki jai, Nitai Go Premanandi. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Which are the verses, the 3 verses? What's the number?
Oh, Trishloka Giti, chapter 15.